Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to say good morning to you first and foremost, and also welcome to everybody who happens to be watching this from the Black Financial Channel. Um, you know, one thing that I wanted to kind of hit real quick today. I'm kind of on edge today because we're running our first marathon on Sunday, and I've never run a marathon before. So wish me luck. I'm very happy about it because I had gained a lot of weight, and I decided to start running a couple of years ago. And the weight loss journey has been awesome. I feel a lot better. I feel like I'm 21 years old. My legs are stronger. My stomach is flatter. My mind is clearer. So I encourage you, if you're sitting on the couch right now, or you're chilling, or you don't like where you are weight wise, just give it a try. Just try a little bit. You know what I mean? Just do a little bit in your life, and I guarantee you that you're going to be happy that you did it. So just my way to encourage you to love yourself, and just take little steps, little baby steps, because I'm not a fast runner. I just get through the race. But anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to everybody who's watching from financialjuneteentv.com. Also, those who are watching on Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. We also have The Real Black Business School on Instagram if you want to follow the Black Business School. And welcome to those on the Facebook page, Financial Juneteenth with Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is where I'm broadcasting from. I wanted to quickly do a quick analysis on what's happening between China and the NBA, as well as, but the NBA is not the only group that China is fighting with right now. They're fighting with the NBA, they're fighting with Apple, they're fighting with Donald Trump. They're kind of fighting with everybody. And what you're watching really is Powernomics in action. You guys know about Powernomics. In fact, today, if you're watching this today on October 10th, you know that today is Powernomics Thursday. Powernomics Thursday on drboycetv.com. That's when I bring in Dr. Claude Anderson, where we talk about Powernomics principles and do conversations that are intelligent and impactful for your lives and stuff like that. So feel free to check us out at drboycetv.com. We do this every Thursday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern time. So feel free to join us there. But China is an interesting country. China is the closest living manifestation to what I see. In terms of what Powernomics looks like, what Black Wall Street looks like, what it means to use your money to either liberate yourself from somebody else's control or to control other people. And China pretty much has thrown down the gauntlet on a few companies. The NBA, they went head to head with China because the general manager of the Houston Rockets put out just one little tweet, just one tweet, in which he said, that he supports the protesters in Hong Kong or something like that. And China was like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. So what they did was they immediately retaliated, like economic warfare. Like China is going to economic war with the United States right now. And basically they shut down, they refused to live stream all the Houston Rockets games in China. I think there's going to be a tour of NBA teams playing in China because they're trying to build their market over there. Because the Chinese love basketball more than Americans do. When I taught a class in China over a decade ago, I literally taught this class in 2005, 2006. Back then, every boy in my class, every single one without exception, all play basketball. Every single one. You go to an American classroom, maybe 60% play basketball, 70%. If it's black boys, it's like 90%, right? 80, 90%. In China, it was 100%. I couldn't believe it. I asked one of my students, I said, does every boy? I said, it seems like every boy here plays basketball. And he was like, yes, every boy here play basketball. Like this Chinese accent. So they love basketball. They suck at it now. I went to the court and they didn't know nothing. I played, I played in the hood and all that, so I knew tricks that they won't learn another 30 years. But it was fascinating to see how many people were playing basketball. So the NBA is trying to build their market up in China. And this really derails a lot of their plans. And because the Chinese didn't just take offense to that one guy's tweet, they were like, look, you need to fire that guy or we're not doing business with you. Where either you smoke him out or we're going to burn down the whole building. Because the Houston Rockets are the most powerful or most popular team in China. And so basically the Rockets were punished. And then they went up another notch and said, we'll punish the whole NBA. you know, if you don't fix this, right? And it was kind of crazy because it started with one guy and one tweet. Who cares? It's one tweet, and they took it down. Big deal, right? But they wanted this guy fired. So that's really going. That's going on. Also, Apple bumped heads with the Chinese because they actually created an app for the Hong Kong protesters were using to track the police, and China was like, no. We don't want that because we're fighting with Hong Kong. Hong Kong right now, Hong Kong is resisting Chinese rule. I think they were leased to the British for 99 years, so they kind of got accustomed to like freedom and democracy and all this other stuff. So now the Chinese are supposed to take over the lease, and the Chinese have a whole different way of doing things. And so the Chinese are like, you know, yeah, okay, now we can extradite you to mainland China if you commit a crime. And the people in Hong Kong are like, we're not doing that. And they're really protesting en masse. Like it's an amazing protest. Bigger than the civil rights movement, bigger than, you know, the women's movement here, bigger than pretty much everything I've ever seen, and it's been going on and on and on. So long story short, the whole issue with Hong Kong is causing China to go head to head with all these American companies. And so the thing is that we also believe in democracy very strongly. We fight for democracy. The Chinese, they believe in communism strongly. Now, if you recall, one of the biggest conflicts in history over democracy versus communism was actually the Vietnam War. And the Vietnam War was a big mess. Too many people died. Too much destruction was incurred. Too many Americans lost their lives. Far more Vietnamese lost their lives. The entire country was just ripped apart. It was absolutely terrible. I watched a couple of thorough documentaries on the Vietnam War. If you ever want to really learn something about America and how America does things, watch a documentary about the Vietnam War. It was really sad and devastating. But the difference now is that these conflicts over democracy versus communism or whatever, they still occur. But in this case, it's going to be a Vietnam War, except it'll be financial. Right? Like there's going to be a lot of economic destruction. Because remember, Trump is also fighting with China right now over you know, a lot of different issues, but particularly the trade deficit. You know, he feels the Chinese are coming in and doing to America what every company on earth does to the black community. That basically they're coming in, grabbing a bag and bouncing. They're not giving anything back. They're taking care of their own. That's what the Chinese do. That's what I was telling you. They practice powernomics. They're very protectionist about their economy, but they're not interested in giving you anything. There are a ton of companies that are Chinese that can come and do business in the U.S., but a lot of these same types of companies in the U.S. can't do business in China. Facebook is not allowed in China. Google is not allowed in China. You know, Uber, not allowed in China, you know, and so they kind of block things, or they either block or they'll steal. They'll replicate what you have, and they'll go and use the government's power to go seize your assets so they can go in and reverse engineer whatever you're doing. So the Chinese are kind of interesting in terms of how they do business. The culture is real different. It comes off as shady to us because we don't do business that way. Like we don't believe you can just steal somebody's idea and, you know, and just do it like it's your own. But the Chinese don't care. The Chinese are like, well, whatever, man, you know. So long story short, you have all these little mini wars going on, these little proxy wars kind of happening, and I'm real curious to see how that plays out. I imagine it spills over into things like you know, digital hacking, like, you know, like they'll break into our computers and, you know, do some stuff there or something. Because I personally think that their kids are better educated than our kids. So you know, the generation now of adults in China are smarter and more educated than the equivalent generation of Americans. I think our biggest downfall, one of our biggest among many, is going to be the fact that we don't educate our children and we don't prepare them for the future. India prepares a big chunk of its population for the future. China prepares a big chunk of its population for the future. I believe the black community needs to get off the white people track. No disrespect to white people, but I believe black people need to stop doing what they're doing and start doing what we need to be doing, right? And so that means, you know, with your child, you got to figure out a different level of educational excellence that you expect from your children. If you want to copy anybody on education, copy the Nigerians. Nigerian families I know are on point educationally. Not everybody, but a big chunk of them are. African Americans, y'all kids are listening to Cardi B and the Migos and mumble rapping their way to school every day and glorifying ignorance, just glorifying stupidity, and it's not going to work for you. You're not winning when your kids are thinking that way when they're growing up, not knowing how to work hard, not knowing how to be disciplined, not knowing how to invest in themselves, not having any commitment or even the patience to read half a book. I mean, it's really, really bad. So how are we going to compete in the future if our kids have no education? Right? So you got to invest in your children and put them on a higher standard. Take them off the grid, put them on a different track, make sure that they're rising to a different level. That's my opinion. That's why Africans don't fuck with us. Well, I think that there's something to be said about that. I mean, remember, we're descendants of slaves, so a lot of us have a slave mentality. I'm not a fan of elitism and disrespecting African American people because we've been through a lot. You know what I mean? Like we're like the abused, traumatized child. But at the same time, those of us who are awake and aware and conscious of this, like once you become conscious of how your history plays a part in your day-to-day actions, that's when it's time for you to make adjustments. You can't just sit there and say, yeah, I know this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me, and that's why I'm screwed up. No, what you do is you say, okay, now that I'm aware of this, how do I fix this, right? So some people want to fix it, some people don't, but I'm telling you, that's going to be the downfall of America. We ain't educating our kids. Everybody else is, China's on point, India's on point, Europe is on point. There's a European dude that I worked with on a project. I was flabbergasted by how much he learned in high school when it came to science and computer science. He learned more in high school than our college graduates learned. I taught on college campuses. A lot of those college students, my God, I was stunned by how lazy they were. Like it's insane. Grade inflation. It's so many issues I have with this whole system, and my advice to anybody who doesn't like it, who hears what I'm saying, is to say, just create a whole new process for your kids in terms of what you want the standard to be, because the standards in the United States are built for lazy people. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. It is what it is. Do what you wish with that information. Quick reminders: number one, please hit the thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube or anywhere else. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button and the notification bell. If you're not watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. We got a couple of financial channels. One is financialjuneteenth.tv.com. Financialjuneteenth.tv.com is a channel where we kind of cover long-term evergreen financial topics. The blackfinancialchannel.com is a channel where we cover daily breaking news, what's going on with the stock market, stuff like that. Also, if we do Black Wealth Conversations. We do like Economic Church and the Black Business School about once every couple of weeks, about once a month. It's totally free. You can come in and ask questions of me for an hour about financial topics, and we have a great conversation. We call these Black Wealth Conversations. We're actually having one tonight. So if you're watching now, go subscribe, get a free membership at theblackbusinessschool.com. You can just get started for free, get a free membership, and you'll be invited to come in to the private room where you can ask questions, things like that. Also, last but not least, we do pop-up Black business schools all around the world, London, Chicago, New York, LA. We've done them everywhere. We're going to do one in New York coming up October 27th. So if you'd like to come to that, that's where we're in a room for 8 hours and we are building. I'm teaching you how to build economies in your family, teach you how to build wealth in your family for the next 200 years. You're networking with other wealth builders, potential investors, potential partners. Feel free to come to that. Toronto, no, I'm not coming to Toronto anytime soon. We're not going to do another one for a long time. So New York is probably going to be the last one for a while. So feel free to go to drboycenewyork.com. That's drboycenewyork.com if you'd like to learn more. All right, guys. So I'm about to go. Some of you asked about this shirt. We actually have a t-shirt platform if you want to go look at our shirts. It's wokeblacktees.com. Wokeblacktees, T-E-S, wokeblacktees.com. So feel free to go to wokeblacktees.com if you want to look at the shirts. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It was real. I'll see you guys soon. So take care. Be good. Peace.